Hello, students. In a normal class, you would already have gotten to see examples like what I'm about to show you in real life. We would have done experiments and seen things in science. So before you get a chance to do the assignment that I'm about to show you, I want you to see an example of the process that you'll be reading about in action. It's called physical weathering, and this is one of the examples that you'll read about in the text. So watch this short clip, and then after that, I'm going to read the text to you, and I want you to take notes as I read. The point of me reading it to you is so that you practice the skill of taking notes as something gets read, rather than just the skill of having to read through a complex text. Hopefully that's something that you're practicing all the time in guided reading. This skill is really just the practice of taking notes and then using notes to answer a question. All right, so coming up is a clip of an example, and then I'll do the read aloud of the text.
Changes in temperature from day to night and the expansion of freezing water cause rocks to wear away. When water enters a crack in a rock, it expands as it freezes overnight. When the ice turns to water and freezes again, it forces the crack open a little more. As the water seeps even further, the crack widens. This freeze-thaw action is repeated. It eventually causes pieces of rock to break off. They fall down the mountainside, where they lie as pieces of jagged rock known as scree.
So, your instructions are to answer the question, what is physical weathering, and give 2 examples. So, I'm going to read the text to you. Your only job is to use what I'm giving you to take notes. Okay? After you take notes, you'll take a picture, and then you will use your notes to answer the question, what is physical weathering, and what are 2 examples? So, the process of weathering breaks rock into smaller pieces. Some of these tiny pieces combine with once living material to form topsoil. Other small pieces of rock collect as sediments. This breakdown of rock happens as they interact with air, water, and living things. There are 3 basic types of weathering: physical, chemical, and biological weathering. Today we'll discuss physical weathering. Okay. Did anything in that paragraph tell you what physical weathering was specifically, or give you an example of physical weathering? If you thought so, write a note. If you don't think so, then let's continue. Physical weathering breaks big rocks into smaller ones without changing the minerals they contain. I'm going to tell you that sentence is important. Pause, and if you can think of it, write a note to help you answer today's question. Okay. Widely swinging temperatures can cause physical weathering. For example, rocks in a desert bake during the day beneath the sun's scorching heat. As rocks get hot, they expand. At night, temperatures in the desert fall. As rocks cool down, they contract or shrink slightly. Expand, contract, expand, contract. This endless cycle gradually causes the rock's outer layer to crumble or flake off. The outer layer of this rock has flaked off after many days of expanding, that means growing larger, and contracting, getting smaller, because of heat and cold. This is an example of physical weathering. Okay, if you haven't already done so, pause and take notes on that paragraph. If you didn't hear something that you need to take a note on, pause the video, go back and check what the question is today, and then reread the text or listen to me read it again. Ice wedging also causes physical weathering. At the start of this process, water seeps into tiny cracks in rocks. If temperatures get very cold, the water turns to ice. Water expands as it freezes, pushing outward and enlarging the cracks. Geologists call this process ice wedging. Each time the water freezes, it opens cracks a little wider. Eventually, the rocks split apart. Ice wedging is what makes potholes in streets, too. So, water expands as it freezes, opening a crack in the rock wider over time. This is an example of physical weathering. At this time, you should pause the video and take one more note about an example of physical weathering. Okay, that's my video for today. It's time for you to take a picture of your notes, use your notes to write an answer to the question, what is physical weathering? And give 2 examples of physical weathering. If you can't do that in complete sentences yet, come back to this video, watch it again until you have notes that will help you to do that task. Bye for now.